this green challenge, and that is MyBioEUBuddy. So let's take a look at what they've been up to.
Hi, we are MyBioEUBuddy team. Tamara, Bilana, and Nicola. Our goal is to help local, regional governments and producers to achieve a higher level of organic production in their region. Organic production methods limit or completely eliminate the use of synthetic agents. Unlike conventional production, organic production is based on the biological balance of the soil, plant, animal, human system. In this way, the health of people and the rest of the living world is protected. Our application clusters European regions based on geographical, geological, agricultural, and climatic characteristics. In each of these clusters, regions with the highest level of bioproduction are recognized. EUBuddy's regions are to serve as references to design recommendations for other regions of the same cluster.
The average of the EU bioproduction is 7.5%. There is significant differences within the same country. The program From a Farm to the Fork aims to increase bioproduction to 25% in 7 years. On the other side, there are more than half regions in the European Union who are low bioproducers with a bioproduction less than 5%. There is only a small number of regions who are considered as very high bioproducers. The Farm to the program aims to increase this very high percentage, but on the other side, there is year-on-year growing demand for the healthy food in the European Union. We propose the educational solution which can increase the awareness in this field. Our solution, MyBioEUBuddy, can help local governments and agricultural producers in order to create the roadmap to increase the bioproduction in their regions. On the next 3 slides, you can see research and methodology used, then you can see the technology used, and at the end, you can see the main data sources.
Well, our application is composed of 4 principal parts. The first one gives the global view on bioproduction in Europe. On a map of Europe, you can see a color-scaled map by share of bioproduction. The visualization on indicators such as dominant group of soil, climate type, and relief is also provided. Later on, one can explore the clusterization of European regions. On European map, you can also see that the same colored regions belong to the same cluster. For example, let's take Catalonia in Spain and Sicily in Italy. And you can see that they are grouped in the same cluster 3 based on agricultural, geological, climatic, and soil characteristics. Scrolling down, the different analyses and descriptions on clusters are also provided. Now, let's go through the application, further through the application to get deeper insight into countries and regions. The second part, consider the interactive visualization on a country level where you can compare 2 or more countries in the left sidebar to filter them and compare on different natural properties. For example, we took Belgium and Spain. The visualization on agricultural and hydrological indicators is also shown. The third part of application is quite similar to the second one. The same we did for countries, we can do for regions and get similar analysis. For example, we took 2 regions, Antwerp and Liège, from Belgium and compared them on different natural properties.
We are now coming to the heart of our application. Let's say that you're from Tuscany in Italy and you would like to understand what can you do in order to improve bioproduction in your region. Our application gives you your BioBuddy, which has similar natural properties while much higher bioproduction share. You can see here that Tuscany's BioEUBuddy is Calabria, which is on the map below, shown with a red circle. Going further, you can see similarity score, which is derived out of the clusterization. Umbria is the most similar region to Tuscany, with similarity close to 97%. Umbria, however, is not a BioEUBuddy of Tuscany, as it does not have high bioproduction share. On the right-hand side, you can see top producers, which are also BioEUBuddies of Tuscany. Going back to the map, you can see in light blue the most similar regions to Tuscany, and the ones which are annotated are the ones which are also high bioproducers. In the next section, you can read about best practices, projects, and know-how which is applied in Calabria, in Italy, and can be replicated in Tuscany in order to improve bioproduction. And scrolling down, you can read about the same for the other Tuscany's BioEUBuddies. Table on the bottom of the page is actually showing more details on the calculation itself in terms of similarity and friendship score. Before we go to the next steps, I will shortly reflect on key challenges that we have faced during the app development. Looking through the list, you can see that they are mainly connected to data availability, especially on sub-country level. And speaking about our projects, the most important part is this of bioprojects and their impact on regions and countries themselves. In terms of next steps, we see further potential for the extension of our application by pairing it with EU funding data. We see potential for the improvement of the user interface and quality of the recommendations themselves, especially through collaboration with local, regional governments and biological institutes. And for that part, we have also open contact form on our website. To round it up, I would remind you of one important quote, and that is, let the food be the medicine, and the medicine be the food. That would be all for our side. Thank you for your attention. We are now open to your questions.
Congratulations. Well, thank you very much indeed. We do have, of course, as always, some questions from our curious audience. First of all, is there a way for two similar regions to connect very easily?
I think it depends also on the politics between the regions and cooperation that exists already between the regions. If they have some cooperation, the history, it will be much more easier. But also the bioproduction, I think it is a goal that is very important in nowadays, and I think this kind of question should be the kind of playground for some new collaboration if they didn't exist in the history.
Maybe to add to that, in this phase we can compare them through the application itself and get different feedback out of the natural characteristics and also understand the state they are currently at. This is covered already with this part of our application.
And do these visualizations come with concrete recommendations or summaries for the policymakers?
Yes, we did like 60, we have first 300 regions, European regions, so 60 of them are considered as high bioproducers or very high bioproducers. And for all of those, we did really research on what was done, état d'art, on what was done in this domain. So yes, we give the real recommendation for those regions.
And finally then, who is the intended audience and what languages do you envisage it eventually being available in?
It is for now. It's in English, and yes, maybe it could be developed in other languages, of course.
And maybe to mention, to add what Nicola said, during this research phase, in order to derive these recommendations, we really needed to go into the local languages to understand what's going on in certain regions in Europe. You needed to go down to the level of those regions, and we did a lot of analysis of the documents which were only published in local languages.
And one part of question was the audience. They are local and regional governments and also local agricultural producers, and everybody can use our application, and we can be a mediator between those interested parties. And we see that if local governments and regional governments help us to give some good recommendation, this application can be very useful.
Well, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
So that was challenge one, a European Green Deal. I hope everyone has been really interested in what our finalists have had to say. And I will remind you again that the assessment by the judges will happen in real time, and we'll be giving the results later on. And also, once we've heard from all the finalists in all of the different sections, we will be allowing a public choice vote. So if you're particularly interested in the green side, remember to come back and watch the finals later on when we announce the winners. We're going to take a few minutes break now before we come on to our next challenge. So feel free, if you're watching at home, to stretch your arms, grab a cup of coffee, and don't go far.